Hey there, fragrance lovers. Welcome to the Soap Thing Project. If you've never experienced my channel before, you're probably scratching your head thinking, Soap Thing? What the hell is that? Well, on a normal day, I would be reviewing things like these. Shaving soaps, aftershaves, and getting to know the scents of them. Good stuff. Well, today is not a normal day. I have been doing this for about 2 years, and I think I've got the skills necessary to do a fragrance review. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to review Mancera Aoud Violet, and if I enjoy doing these reviews, well, you might see some more content coming from me in the future. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. Okay, let's just get right into it, starting with the box. Here is the Mancera Aoud Violet box. On the front of the box it just says Mancera Paris Aoud Violet Eau de Parfum 60 milliliters. There is nothing on the sides or the top of the box, and on the back it says Eau de Parfum. It's got the ingredients list, and it is made in France. And the bottom of the box is your batch code. Now, all Mancera fragrances come in these really neat little pouches. This one just happens to be a purple one, I'm guessing in reference to the violet leaf that's in this fragrance. The insides of these are felt lined, they're really high quality feeling. And this is a 60 ml bottle, so this is even more useful than I think on a normal one, because the 60 ml bottles are really good for air travel, they're TSA compliant, and if you're going to travel with something, you definitely want to travel with a smaller fragrance bottle anyway. So here is the pouch. And finally we have the fragrance bottle. Here it is right here. Mancera fragrances tend to come in these really high quality feeling, robust glass bottles. There's nothing particularly distinctive or flashy about it. It's simple elegance, I think, is what it is. It's just a really high quality feeling presentation. Now the sticker is actually really high quality. They are not sparing expense with this. I have bumped this bottle against all sorts of other fragrances in my collection pretty repeatedly, but looking at the sticker you wouldn't hardly know the difference. That's quality right there. So I bought this about a month ago from FragranceNet with their 37% off coupon, and interestingly mine has a screw down cap. So I did run the batch code in this fragrance, and it does appear that I have an older bottle. This one was made in 2021. Newer Mancera bottles are going to have the magnetic caps, as I'm sure you're aware. So do keep that in mind. If you get one with a screw-down cap, it's not a fake. You probably just got an older bottle. Okay, let's go over the notes for this thing. From Parfumo. In the opening, we have green notes, spices, and bergamot. In the mid, there's oud, patchouli, and violet. And in the dry down, we have amber, vetiver, and white musk. So before we go any further, I will go ahead and spray a couple sprays in front of the camera for you. It's a pretty good atomizer, I think. I definitely like the ones on the newer Mancera bottles better. Those have better atomizers, but this one still throws it out there, no problem at all. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it on me, because when you buy a fragrance, you don't spray it on a tester strip, you spray it on you. So that's how I'm going to experience this fragrance today. So anybody who's familiar with Mancera fragrances, you know that there are certain baseline nuances that they all have that make them smell familiar, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, you could blindfold me and spray a Mancera fragrance in front of me and I would know immediately what it is, because there's just something about them, how they're made, that makes them have a baseline similarity that is easy to pick up. In any case, let's talk about the opening for this thing. So Mancera Aoud Violet has a very long opening, like really long, much longer than most other designer fragrances I've ever seen. It's actually quite impressive. So this opens up with a green and spicy facet. The bergamot is definitely there. This is a very, very fresh opening. The bergamot stays there. I mean, it lingers and it lingers and it lingers. It's like a one-night stand that won't leave in the morning. And I also get violet straight away. Like, the violet shows up almost immediately. It's good stuff. The patchouli, I think, is mingling with the spices a little bit in the opening, just a little bit. It's a very green opening though. It's a very fresh floral green opening. The violet leaf in this stays in the fragrance from the very beginning to the very end, and it's a very fresh and forgiving violet leaf. We're not talking Dior Fahrenheit stuff here. This is a fresh, very fresh take on violet leaf. Now once you do get that very long opening out the door, the mid, as you might expect, is relatively short. But it's a good mid. Oh boy, is it good. This turns into quite a compelling marine fragrance. It goes from being a very green, spicy, fresh, citrusy fragrance into an aquatic marine fragrance, unlike most other aquatics I've ever seen. It really is quite a transformation. Without me trying to solicit a reaction, I've actually had quite a lot of people come up to me and say that this smells like a very high quality take on Nautica Voyage. And at first I thought, nah, they're full of shit. There's no way it smells like that. But the more I smell it, when it goes through the mid, the more I think, yeah, it actually kind of does smell like a niche quality Nautica Voyage. That's the kind of marine fragrance you're gonna get with this. The mid is where the oud shows up. We'll talk more about the oud here in a second. Also, the amber and the white musk arrive and leave during the mid. I know those are dry down notes, but for me, the amber and the white musk, that's when I pick those up the most, is during the mid, when it has this really marine, aquatic, slightly watery sort of vibe. As we come out of the mid and go into the dry down, this actually turns into a floral woody fragrance. It's actually quite pleasant. The oud, which arrives in the mid and goes out with the dry down, never quite smells like oud. I actually get more of a rosewood vibe out of this oud than I do your typical dark, rich, resinous type of oud. It's not a funky, dirty butt oud either. It's a really forgiving oud that is so forgiving it almost doesn't even smell like oud. Actually, now that I think about it, the oud mixing with the vetiver might be giving me this rosewood vibe that might be just blending well, but I really don't get a ton of oud out of this. It's a different kind of wood that more strongly resembles a rosewood sort of vibe. And that's the life of the fragrance in a nutshell right there. Mancera Aoud Violet. What's the horsepower like on this thing? Well, it's pretty good, not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible category of fragrances. It is a powerful ride that is best experienced with the top down, if you know what I mean. So I did go ahead and wear this fragrance for 3 calendar days and took some notes along the way. Hours of longevity for this thing, for those 3 days I got 2 9s and a 10, which by Mancera standards is a little low, but by designer aquatic fragrance standards, that's well above average, so I would definitely take what I can get. As far as the projection, well, it is a Mancera, so I got arm's length scent projection for half the life of the fragrance, and then after that it did very slowly back down to a skin scent, and that's where it arrived at about the 9 or 10 hour mark. I'm telling you what, 4 or 5 sprays of this thing and you're gonna fill up a room. This is seriously bordering on Invictus Aqua 2016 territory. It is definitely going to push. Now, compliment factor on this thing is actually pretty good. You ain't sneaking up on nobody wearing this. Not a chance in hell. I've actually, like I said earlier in the video, I had quite a few people come up to me and say that this smelled like a really expensive Nautica Voyage. I've also had a handful of people just walk up and say this smells freaking amazing. So if I'm getting that kind of reaction, I'd say it's reacting quite well with people. And finally, let's talk about versatility. This is a unisex fragrance with no problem at all. A man or a woman could pull this off. You're definitely going to want to wear this in the summertime, probably during the day. It would just tear it up in the summertime during the day. I really don't think it has quite the sweetness to be worn in the summer in the evening. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe you want to be fresh all day long, but if you're looking for a sweeter fragrance during the summer nights, this isn't going to quite do it, I don't think. You could get away with this in the springtime, but I think during the winter, the fall and the winter, especially if it gets cold, the frigid cold weather, I think would put this fragrance to bed, even though it's a Mancera, and the other oud and amber fragrances that everybody else is wearing, that's definitely going to put this to bed too. Especially if you come up against somebody who's got like Armani Code Profumo, that's going to put this fragrance to bed. So I would definitely wear this during the summer months during the daytime. And pricing, real quick before I forget, this cost me about $60 from FragranceNet with the 37% off coupon. So at $60, I think this is a screeching deal. This is definitely a steal of a fragrance. If you're looking for a really powerful summertime fragrance, this is definitely the way to go. And that's it for Mancera Aoud Violet. I really like this fragrance, and I could see myself wearing this quite a lot, and I might have to get another bottle because this stuff is absolutely good to go. All right, that's it, everybody. Questions, comments, put them in the comments section of the video. Otherwise, do yourself a favor and spray like you mean it. Thanks for watching.